Breaking news tonight from Rome. Julius Caesar, dictator of Rome and the most powerful man in the Republic, has been assassinated inside the Senate. Tonight, 60 senators in a coordinated attack. 23 stab wounds as Rome's leader falls at the base of Pompey's statue. Chaos in the streets as citizens barricade their homes and flee the city.
I was just outside when the commotion started. People in formal dress came rushing out. I've never witnessed anything like this moment. What happens to Rome now?
Conspirators now fortified on Capitoline Hill, waving bloody daggers and proclaiming liberty. And the question no one can answer: who will rule Rome now? Good evening, I'm Lucia Valentina, and this is Historical News Network. To understand what happened today, you need to understand who Julius Caesar was. For the past 5 years, Caesar has been Rome's dictator. That's an actual Roman office, traditionally appointed for 6 months maximum during emergencies. But last month, Caesar was appointed dictator for life. He conquered Gaul, defeated Pompey in civil war, and accumulated more power than any single Roman was meant to hold. To his supporters, he was a savior who brought stability. To his opponents, he was a tyrant who destroyed 500 years of Republican government. Around noon today, Caesar attended a Senate meeting at the Curia of Pompey, a temporary chamber while the regular Senate building was being renovated.
He's here. Quiet, he's coming. Ave, Caesar. Ave.
Senator Tullius Cimber approached Caesar with a petition, a request to recall his exiled brother. When Caesar refused, Cimber grabbed Caesar's toga and yanked it down from his shoulders. That was the signal. Senator Publius Servilius Casca, standing behind Caesar, struck first, a blow to the neck. Caesar fought back. He grabbed Casca's arm and stabbed him with his stylus, his writing instrument. But then the others closed in. Cassius slashed Caesar's face. Brutus stabbed his thigh. They came from every side. Senators Caesar had trusted, men he'd promoted, men he'd pardoned after defeating them in war. Caesar received 23 stab wounds. The entire attack lasted only moments.
It all happened so fast. They gathered around Caesar, and then everything erupted. Shouting, confusion, no one knew what was happening. Brutus was...
Here's the detail that's almost too perfect to be true. Caesar collapsed at the base of a statue of Pompey. Pompey, the rival Caesar defeated in civil war 5 years ago. Caesar died at his enemy's feet. Senators fled the chamber in panic. The conspirators emerged with bloodied daggers, proclaiming they'd freed Rome from tyranny. Caesar's body was carried out on a litter. 3 slaves bore him through the forum as word spread through the city. Rome's most powerful man was dead. To help us understand what drove these men to such drastic action, we're joined by Marcus Flavius, professor of constitutional law at the Roman Academy. Professor, these weren't Caesar's enemies. Many were men he'd promoted, even pardoned after the Civil War. So my question is, why would they want him dead?
Thanks for having me, Lucia. What you have to understand is that just weeks ago, Caesar accepted the title Dictator Perpetuo, which means dictator for life. And for these men, that was the breaking point. Romans expelled their last king, Tarquin the Proud, in 509 BCE, specifically to prevent one man from holding permanent power. And for 5 centuries, the word rex, which means king, has even been the worst insult in Roman politics. So these conspirators genuinely believed Caesar was destroying the republic their ancestors died to create.
But they must have had some plan for what came after, right?
Well, that's what's so remarkable. They didn't. The assassination itself was meticulously planned, but the aftermath was completely ignored. They made no provisions for the power vacuum, no strategy for Caesar's veteran legions, thousands of battle-hardened soldiers fiercely loyal to their dead commander. No plan to deal with Mark Antony, who's co-counsel with military backing, or Lepidus, who controls troops as master of horse. They didn't secure the treasury, the armory, or any instruments of power. They simply believed that removing the tyrant would automatically restore Republican government.
So, if I understand you right, they just expected the system to just snap back to normal?
Exactly. And history suggests they were catastrophically wrong about that. Rome has fundamentally changed under Caesar's rule, and you can't simply return to the old republic by removing one man.
Professor Flavius, thank you for that insight. As Professor Flavius mentioned, they completely failed to plan for what would happen after Caesar's death. So let's break down who controls what right now. You've essentially got two camps forming. First, the military power. Mark Antony, Caesar's co-consul and his most trusted general, escaped the Senate and went into hiding. He still holds Rome's highest elected office, which means he has legitimate authority to command troops. Lepidus, Caesar's second-in-command, is actually moving troops into the city as we speak. And then you've got Caesar's veteran legions camped nearby. Thousands of battle-hardened soldiers who were personally loyal to Caesar and don't even know yet that he's dead. Second, the conspirators and what's left of the Senate. They've barricaded themselves on Capitoline Hill with basically no military backing beyond their bodyguards. They control the symbolic seat of power but can't control the actual city. So, Rome's got multiple armed factions, no legitimate authority, no functioning government, and nights falling on a city with nobody in charge. The question isn't if this explodes into violence, it's when. To actually get eyes on what's happening in the streets, we're going to Gaius Marcellus, who's live at the forum where crowds have been gathering all afternoon. Gaius, what are you seeing?
Lucia, the forum is packed with thousands of Romans, but the entire commercial district has shut down. What's striking is how divided the reactions are. I'm seeing Caesar's veterans, and they're angry, really angry, talking openly about revenge. But other citizens are celebrating, calling this liberation from tyranny. Most people, though, are just terrified. Families are loading carts to flee to the countryside, and I'm watching citizens climb onto rooftops to watch for danger.
Gaius, is there any official presence there to maintain order?
Well, that's what's most alarming, Lucia. There are no magistrates visible, also no Roman city police force, and for as far as I know, the conspirators are still on the capital, but they're not attempting to control the city whatsoever. Night is falling, and there's simply no one here to maintain order or prevent violence. So people are starting to leave as darkness approaches. Lucia, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Gaius. It's clear that Rome is split over today's events, and across the city, people are sharing their thoughts, both in the streets and online. The mood is very tense, so we've compiled some of the most striking reactions to see how Rome really feels tonight. But before we take a closer look, we'll pause for a brief break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Blood on your toga? Happens to the best of us. I'm Felix of Phalonica Felix, and we make stains, especially the red kind, disappear by sunset.
Hail, neighbor! Too many riots on the street to fetch your own grain? I sprint past mobs, shields, and shouting senators to bring this amphora straight to your door.
Salve, friends! Marcus Lentulus here, your favorite finder of fine foundations. Check these villas in the Forum District. Marble columns, heated baths, rooftop dining, starting at just 400 denarii. Why so low? Let's just say they were suddenly available.
Welcome back. As mentioned before, reactions are pouring in from all across the city. We've gathered some of the strongest reactions to get a sense of how Rome is feeling tonight. Here's a look at what people are saying.
It's not the senators you should fear now. Antony has the legions, Lepidus holds the cavalry, and Octavian, he's already buying the people. The conspirators, they control nothing but a bloody chamber and wishful thinking.
Rome is finished. We just watched senators stab the most powerful man in the world to death in the Senate chamber. There's no law anymore, there's no order.
I served under Caesar in Gaul for 8 years. Those senators murdered our commander.
You hear that? The streets are roaring, but I'm here. Safe, spotless, and I swear, the whole city feels new today. The Senate's vote came through, the banners are up, and for the first time in my life, it feels like Rome belongs to us again.
They're saying the forum's already packed. If the Legion gets here first, whoever's left, gods, I can't leave it all behind. Not after 20 years. One more jar, then we're gone.
Every magistracy, every priesthood, every power, he has gathered them all into his own hands. He was not content to guide the Republic, he became the Republic.
Alright, so everyone just bolts home because some senators started yelling in the forum? I don't get it. One moment I'm weighing barley, next they say Caesar stabbed, all markets shut. Who's buying bread with the ovens cold, eh?
We've seen the chaos in the streets and heard from a divided Rome. The big question now, what happens next? Military analysts point to Mark Antony and Caesar's veteran legions, the same soldiers who conquered Gaul and defeated Pompey just 3 years ago. The conspirators chose not to kill Mark Antony, which experts are calling a catastrophic tactical error. Political analysts warn another civil war may be coming. Rome barely recovered from the last one, and the wounds are still fresh. Some experts even question whether the Republic can survive at all. Caesar was appointed dictator for life just last month. The old system of shared power among equals may no longer function. The best-case scenario, a peaceful transition back to Senate rule, is dismissed by nearly every expert we've consulted as unrealistic given the military realities on the ground. Now, let's check in with our meteorologist Quintus Ventus for tonight's forecast. Quintus, what's the weather looking like?
Thank you, Lucia. Well, quite the pleasant evening we're looking at here in Rome. Clear skies, temperature dropping to a comfortable 14 degrees Celsius. Major factor tonight is that new moon, so we're talking very limited visibility after sunset. Great if you're trying to move troops undetected or escape angry mobs, am I right? No precipitation expected, so any blood in the streets should dry nicely by morning. Stay safe out there, Rome.